Hi, good to be here again to complete what we began yesterday, a discussion about the three brains. So to reiterate from our yesterday's interaction, for our understanding to flow, we might begin first to acknowledge our intuitive relationship with all three brains, the head, heart, and gut. And that requires acute listening, unlike Chinese whispers. If you consciously attend to their collective wisdom, then the three brains help you to act or decide, taking into consideration a relatively far bigger picture. I wish I could say it's as easy to do this as it is for me to say it, but it isn't. Not quite as difficult as resisting one form of expression while relying on the brain that's most in command, but it is nevertheless something that we have to strive towards, I would say. This, in fact, just depending on one brain and putting all eggs in one basket, so to speak, consumes us. Denying the existence of something takes up all our energy, leaving us nothing in reserve for when we most require it, when we are ill, for example. Our ability to use our three brains efficiently is via meditation and mindfulness. So you probably have a meditation practice that you have been doing for a while, or you may be new to it, or you don't meditate at all. All is good. Meditation is good and relevant to our fast-paced times. I know you would agree with that. And there is a variety of guided meditation practices online and no dearth of good teachers. Mindfulness is another catchphrase in the ever-expanding lexicon of seekers. Meditation in daily living equals mindfulness. I don't believe mindfulness is a noun. For me, it is a verb, a progressively imbibed and honed technique. And the better you get at being mindful, the bigger the number of opportunities you will have to display your maturity at handling the curveballs thrown to you. It doesn't last for a day or a month or even a year. It's like your favorite clothing that you don't ever want to undress. So how would the practice of mindfulness help us to navigate the alien co-waters of these three brains? We are assuming it will. We are assuming that mindfulness will help us to understand better the individual functions and the combined functions of all three brains. So let's test it out. Let's begin our understanding, or let's begin by understanding what will prepare us to go deeper into reflection and observation of what goes on within us in these three areas: the cranium, the chest, and the abdomen. So a calm state of mind, a narrowing down of your focus into the present moment, so naturally keeping all distraction at bay, including your pet, especially if you're new to this. Experienced practitioners learn how not to be ruffled by external noise or disturbance. My cat likes to hang out near me when I meditate, courtesy, I'm sure, the collective consciousness that we both latch into together. So ultimately what happens is that when you meditate, whatever is happening around you ceases to have that much of importance in your life, because the bliss that you encounter when you are in deeper states of consciousness are something that you would rather have. So let's try it. Let's check what we can do together to get into that state. So settle down in a quiet space, free of others. You can close your eyes to help you go inwards. If possible to do, leave them open. If impossible to do, leave your eyes open, though unfocused, half-closed, relaxed. Now this is one time that movement is seen as unnecessary to the process of healing. And at other times, even probably I have expressed how movement is so essential to our healing. But during meditation, being in a calm state of mind, being in a calm state of body, means that there is no movement. Bringing your mind and body into some kind of stillness is a much admired feat. And this is definitely not the place and the time to start making lists for the next day's work. In fact, most people will be screaming in their heads by now, because when people are asked to close their eyes, They find their body crawling with fatigue and with ants and what else. Soon this pause from whatever you were doing is going to lengthen slowly into minutes, and then even 10 minutes may seem like an excruciatingly long period of time. But to begin, it is necessary to have that small window, 5-minute window or a 10-minute window into the deeper parts of you. Now you have learned to focus even as a kid, so you cannot deny that you know how to focus. You may have probably lost the habit. Now this meditation kind of focus, however, where you are merely a bystander, watching your thoughts, watching your feelings, and watching the sensations in your body, is difficult in the beginning. You are thinking of quitting as it's hard, and it's not quite what you imagine would be an experience of meditative bliss right from the word go. That is why, precisely why, choosing a space, the same space, and a particular time in the day, no matter what time, consistent on all days, is essential to building this focus. If you choose a different place every day, slotting your practice into those free minutes between the so-called most important things of your life, your practice will be as scattered as you, and focus you will learn never. So once you get settled in these two important primary startup things, the space, the time, you can focus on the thing which is closest to your existence, which is your breath. And when you start to focus on your breath, within a kind of uninterrupted stillness, is when you will start to explore yourself. Your breath gives you an insider look if you let it. No detours, unlike with a mantra or an image or even the guiding voice of a teacher, which oftentimes can lead our minds into reveries or even alternate realities. But with the breath, we are stuck here, right here in present moment awareness. No escape from who you are right now. And even as one breath fades into nothingness, another breath emerges, and our attention is held within the ever-lengthening space between two breaths. From space to space we go. Eventually there will be realization of only uninterrupted space, the breath as a boundary to this space, having become too fine to be even noticed or to be distracted by. Many teachers call this as centering, a coming home to self, a coming home to the midline, coming home to our soul's perfection. Now coming home to authenticity or the real pure self. And once you learn to focus via your breath, you'll be ready to move into specific spaces in your body. We generally turn to the outside for solutions, don't we? To our peers, to family, to books, and of course the internet. Where would I be without my daily dose of Google? Well, what would you find if you looked inside rather than outside for answers? If you used your breath as your awareness, as your vehicle to lead you inside, try it right now, even while I'm talking. While focusing on your breath, bring a current conflict you are facing currently in your life, bring it to mind. Now, since this memory recall is declarative, let's begin to explore the response of your headspace. How does your brain use its logic and rationality, its logical and rational parts, to understand this problem that you are currently facing? While you examine your thoughts, stay there, stay in the realm of thinking. Allow yourself the liberty of only being in the headspace, being cut off from all your feeling nature. And make a mental note of all the monkeying around your thoughts are doing right now, while you try to come to a decision or come to clarity about your problem. For some of you, this might be exhilarating as it's comforting to brainstorm within yourself. And how does thinking help you to find a solution to your current problem is what you will get an answer to. Take a few breaths. De-link from the upstairs area and just stay neutral until balance is restored. And then it's a mere drop into the heart space below. As a therapist and an empath, I help thinkers find their way into their heart muscle with gentle contact via their own hand placed over their heart. It's simply remarkable how the warmth from your own hand can open the meridians connected with your heart. Now again, recall your earlier conflict and have a feel for it. What are the underlying emotions? Don't question how you feel, for that will bring in your cognitive thinking side. Instead, appreciate maybe for the first time without censure the feeling nature of your experience. Your heart is a source of sound guidance. Does the solution you found before in the brain gain in clarity with this new emotional input? Again, something for you to think about, something for you to know. After a few more breaths, you will go back to your neutral breathing. And when I say neutral breathing, I mean that you are not focused anywhere in your body. These breaths will balance the shift from head to heart and now to your gut. The gut is all about body awareness. We do not realize the effect of the gut on the entire body as we usually localize its effects to the stomach. If you don't know your stomach to be a separate independent organ in your body, you generally confuse it to be your abdomen, and the stomach being just one part of your gut. For now, take your hand, place that warmth from your hand somewhere on your belly, preferably your lower belly around your navel. Now, unknown to many people, the gut is your repository of what I call unfinished business. Your sacral chakra dutifully stores all your emotional stories, good, bad, past, present, expressed, unexpressed. And now the gut houses the powerful enteric system that is in charge of sending messages to the brain via the vagus nerve. If you have tons of unresolved issues swimming in the watery confines of your pelvic area, be sure your head and your heart brains are going to get informed and act accordingly, and your thinking and emotions may get muddled. So stress in your gut, whether psychological or physiological, is going to set off disturbing sensations that will also provoke discomfort at the level of your mental and emotional health. Stay here a while exploring the emotional content of the gut. You may sense nothing at all or vague sensations of tightness, pain, bloating, or excessive heat. In short, there's no escaping the continuity of the body form. For matters of functioning, the body spaces do their own special thing, but with considerable influence from other two brains. You observed, didn't you, how you can become mindful of how the three spaces or cavities function independently, each with their own specialized and self-regulating nervous systems. Similarly, setting your attention or awareness anywhere else in the body, anywhere else, not just in these three organs, will reveal to you how your body is responding in that moment of pain. If you have pain anywhere, all you do is keep your attention in that spot, completely present to only what's arising there. You can put your hand there, you can invite a shift in energy, let go of the irritation or anger found here in the form of a knot or a constriction, and sense dynamic movement of fascia that adapts very nicely to a focused re-establishment of neutral forces. We all have our special annoyances in the body. In my craniosacral practice, most common complaints come in the form of repeated spasms in the neck, shoulder muscle strain, hand and wrist issues, TMJ, throat and nasal complaints, headaches, just general muscle fatigue and tension. Now, these are our go-to places in the body to lock in emotional discontent we would rather ignore. At our own peril, of course. Next time, before you trot off to the doctor for prescription drugs or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, do a body scan. Locate your imbalance and release what you can. Through just focus, concentration, mindfulness, you may need the lowest dosages, actually, or even a postponement of your visit to the doctor. Now, isn't that a good thing? But only when you don't need surgery or immediate resuscitation. Apart from extreme situations requiring emergency relief, what you need to learn is self-healing. in a safe way, preferably under the supervision of a therapist if possible. But if you can try this for yourself, please go ahead. I would recommend seeking professional help only when required, when something comes up and you're unable to handle it, unable to deal with it, or find a closure to it. Being in the care of a caring and supportive therapist or counselor is far more remedial than having to cope single-handedly. Now tomorrow, let's recap certain techniques that you may well know to bridge the mind-body gap. Now these would be my personal favorites. They have been for myself and in my professional capacity as well. So let's see what we can find tomorrow for you. So see you then. Have a pleasant day. Thank you.
Help Talks are daily health-related talks held at Health Education Library for People, Mumbai, India. For more information visit www.healthlibrary.com. Subscribe to Help Talks channel. Be better informed about your health.